Well, howdy, and welcome to the Built to Last podcast. I'm joined with my wife, Ashley Chase, and we're going to get into a marriage episode. So we'll be doing a few of these and see if you guys like them. So today we are going to talk about getting married. Are you called to singleness? And finding the right one. So today should be a fun episode. So we'll start off with an easy one, just a softball for you, Ashley. Should all people get married?
I think literally the first commandment that God gives us in Genesis when he creates us is to be fruitful and multiply. And then later on, he makes it clear that that's to be done within monogamous heterosexual marriage. Okay. So, it feels like it's important.
So are you not pro-polygamy?
I'm not pro-polygamy. Is that a hot take?
Apparently nowadays it is. There's a lot of men
It should not be a hot take.
Why do you think there's all these men arguing for
Because
polygamy?
they're disgusting.
Pervs.
I don't know. They think it'd be easier to have multiple wives, but it's just harder.
You have multiple personalities, so I have
Yeah.
plenty on my hands. I don't need any more. Undiagnosed.
No, so I'll tell you a story. When I was in college, I led a bunch of Bible studies with different girls, and a lot of them were new believers. A lot of them grew up in the church, and I had a group of girls. There were like 12 girls in my house one day, and we were just talking about something else. I don't know, some Bible study, and all of a sudden, one of them was like asking or explaining that she felt like she was called to singleness. And then all the other girls were like, yeah, me too. And I was like, listen, okay, what are the odds that all 12 of us in this room are called to singleness? Like, that's not possible.
I just think people that are, especially young adults, if you don't have your life figured out and you're not a great person.
Like you just give up and you're like, I guess I'm not going to get married. I can't find anyone.
Yeah, it's an easy scripture to fall into.
That's for some of these girls. And I also feel like there was kind of a lie that like partially with feminism, partially that they couldn't imagine what a good relationship would look like, what a good marriage would look like. Like that wasn't modeled for them. They weren't seeing it in culture. They were just seeing divorce and abuse and women being suppressed and all these things. Which does happen, but that's not how God designed marriage. So just because we see a lot of people doing it wrong doesn't mean that we shouldn't do it. Yeah. We shouldn't just throw out the whole idea of marriage because we see so many bad examples. We should do it the way that God intended it to be done and find a man that is willing to do that as well and will lead you in that and be the head of your household and be biblical and submitted to the Lord, and then you submit to him. Like that's how it's supposed to be, and it really does work. But I think they were fearful of the bad examples that they had seen. They were fearful of not being able to do what they wanted with their lives, like losing their freedom, losing their independence. A lot of them said they didn't feel like they were supposed to have kids, but a lot of it is just fear-based. I don't know how it is for men, but for women, it's like these lies that have been given to us over years and years and years that we grew up with, that we can do everything on our own, we can be independent. I'm a very strong-willed person. I'm a very strong-willed woman, and I had a hard time seeing how I was going to marry someone that I felt like I could follow.
Yeah, you probably fell into the category where you thought you might have the gift of singleness.
I was okay with it. Like I was going to be a nun and like go be a missionary, and I felt like I'm going to go do great things for the Lord, and if I don't have a husband and kids, like I can do a lot more than I would be able to, not because it's like restricting, but because literally when you have a child, like a husband to prioritize, it's just different. You don't have all the independence and free time. Yeah. But I wouldn't, now looking back, I'm like, wow, that was really silly of me to think that I had to be alone to make an impact for the Lord. Like we're very much in ministry together, and that's not the case for everyone, but it should be in some way. You should be serving together, raising your kids in the Lord together, educating them, being a blessing to your local church and those around you, and bringing people to the Lord. Like you can do so much more together than you can separately. It's like, the example the Bible gives of like a yoke on two animals, like you can carry 500 pounds each, or you can carry 1,500 together. Like that's literally how the math works, and it doesn't math. Like it doesn't make sense. But when you have a marriage that is towards the Lord, towards the kingdom, you can carry so much more than you could have ever alone. And you're also so much more aware of the enemy's schemes and like able to speak into each other's lives. Like I had so many blind spots that I never would have realized if you hadn't helped me see them, and vice versa.
You're welcome.
Right? So I don't think most people are called to sing. I think most people should get married.
In what situations do you think people are called to singleness?
I think you just have to be really careful what environment you're in and whether you actually are hearing from the Lord or not. Like your default should be to get married.
Being unlikable isn't a reason though. Called the singleness.
Being shy, being introverted, not having a good church community, not being outgoing, people hurting you, whatever, not good reasons. You wanting to just be a missionary, like maybe, but probably not, like it's very, very uncommon. Like people talk about Paul and it's like, well, Paul was part of the Sanhedrin, which meant that at some point he was married. We don't know what happened. Probably she died because they didn't really do divorce in the Sanhedrin, but probably she died and he didn't get remarried, and God used that to launch him into this ministry that, yeah, he probably couldn't have done if he had a wife and kids. God used that, but that doesn't mean that we are all Paul should stay single so we can make a difference for the gospel. And if you're not prioritizing like actual evangelism, like there really, I don't know that there is any excuse to not get married.
Yeah, it feels like a lot of unlikable, strong, opinionated people hide behind that verse.
Yeah, or they've just been hurt. They've been in
Exactly.
relationships. They haven't seen good ones, and they just don't know what it would look like. And they're like, I just don't want to figure it out. It's scary. It's intimidating, whatever. I don't want to be burned again. And so they just decide they're not going to. But I think it's the result of many, many years of lies and just fear, honestly. So I think you have to evaluate, like, if you have that belief or you have that conviction or you feel like you do, is it a feeling or is that actually what it is? So are you just in an environment where all 12 girls that you're around are like, I'm called to singleness, and then you all just decide that you are? Like, that's crazy. Like, you're just giving in to peer pressure at that point. You're not actually hearing straight from the Lord.
What would you tell the young feminist on what they're missing out in marriage?
I mean, I feel like I had no idea how sanctifying marriage would be. And my whole goal is to do the most I can for Jesus, right? Like the whole purpose of my life is to make Jesus greater and known and spread his name throughout the world. And that's all of our purposes. And I was doing that when I was single, but there were so many just like lies I was believing, things that I was blind to, things that I'd either just inherited from culture or from family that I had not realized were actually keeping me bound in a lot of ways, spiritually and even mentally and stuff. And like I was feeling so much anxiety and so much stress, and just felt like I had to figure everything out on my own all the time. And I'm very strong, I'm very capable, but I wasn't built for that. Like, to learn to rely on a husband, it's taught me a lot about relying on the Lord and trusting you to be relying on him so I can follow you as I follow him. But yeah, I mean, there's so many lessons, and parenting's the same way, but especially with marriage, like there's just so much I don't feel like I would have learned about God's character, about myself, about you, about the purpose of marriage and what a blessing it is. Like, I saw a lot of the bad things. Even though I grew up with parents that had a good marriage, I still had fears. And so, yeah, I mean, I don't think I would have been sanctified nearly as much if I was just on my own. And also, it's just really so much better to not be alone. Like, I'm very introverted. I love being alone. But yeah, I think doing things that matter with someone that you love and that loves the Lord with you, it's like, there's nothing better. And you don't know what it's like until you're doing it. And then you're like, wow, I can't believe I almost missed out on this. Yeah.
So I think we've landed on you should get married. You should make every attempt to get married. And if you can't get married and you can't find somebody, I would not be a victim to that. I would first look in the mirror, literally look in the mirror, make sure.
Are you brushing your teeth?
Like, there's differing levels of attractiveness in the world. That's just reality. But are you the best version of you? Are you stewarding what God's gifted you with? Are you a healthy human, a healthy Christian? Are you physically healthy? So
what should people be looking for then if we're saying they should get married? They should make every attempt to get married because they need to help promulgate the gospel on the earth. And the best way to do that is through marriage and family. What are we looking at? How do you find the right person?
I think every young person should go home and write a list of what they're looking for in a spouse. And then I think they should look at that list and look at that list through the lens of the other person looking at them. Are you that list? Because we are so quick to have this 82-page paper on what we're looking for in a spouse.
6 feet, and I mean, his car is kind of junky. His mom's kind of annoying.
They always are.
They always are.
But I think the thing you should do is write the list for the other person and then hold it up like a mirror. And am I those things? Would I fulfill any person's list? We are so quick to have this ridiculous list for other people and almost no standards for ourselves. A lot of guys out there are just at home watching porn, playing video games, and then they go to church and they're hoping
Can't find a godly wife.
Where's this godly
Well,
wife?
she's gonna see that you're doing these things. She's not gonna be attracted to them.
Yeah. So I would put all the responsibility on the person that's looking. So whether you're male or female, are you a good person? Are you taking care of yourself? Are you living healthy? Are you serving at your church? That's a huge one. What community are you pushing yourself in? What process have you put yourself in? When I was single, I looked at my schedule as a process that I lived into that was going to develop me as a person. Because we live in a process whether we want to or not, whether we're planning on or not.
Usually life just happens.
Yeah,
to you.
life just happens. So when I was single, I had 2 full-time jobs, basically. I volunteered at the church. I had 2 or 3 Bible studies I was a part of, and I met with a mentor every week. It's pretty hard to become a worse man.
Yeah, for sure.
When you're working hard, you're in a church, you're serving, and you have mentorship.
Yeah.
And
We say that a lot. Like having idleness is a new problem because our lives are so easy. We can just Amazon, DoorDash. Like we literally don't have to do anything if we don't want to. We can just sit on the couch and everything can be done for us at all times. And so the idleness creates these, addictions and lust and all these horrible things that if you're busy pursuing the Lord and trying to be sanctified and trying to become the best future husband, future wife you can be, like you don't have time, brother. Like I don't have time for anybody else's drama. Like I'm raising a son and I'm helping you. And that's it. Like I don't have to meddle in things. I don't have to be sucked up into things. Like I don't have energy for it.
yeah.
So
Because everybody wants somebody we're equally yoked with. And if we are the weaker, it's not equally yoked. Like you need to be a great person.
Yeah.
You need to be a great Christian. Your community should speak highly of you.
Yeah.
You should hear positive rumors come back to you about yourself. Where, man, you were at the church like every night last week serving and helping and putting on the production thing or
Kids love hanging out with you and everyone speaks highly of you. Your mentor says listen.
How'd that go
take
for
their
you and
advice.
me? So I wasn't in
Yeah.
your community and I inserted myself in your community.
Sure did.
I created rumors about myself.
Sure did.
Always went back to you. How did that go?
Conspiracies.
I did.
Yeah, you showed up at church one day and I was like, you don't even live here. Like, what are you doing here? I was worried you were stalking me, but you weren't. So, it worked out. Okay, so when the truth comes out, we're married. How about we're married? So it worked. You were very intentional about getting to know my family and my friends and being in my world. Like I was in college. You were at a different college, but you would come and hang out with
5 hours away.
Yeah.
Just pretty close.
You would come and hang out with like my college ministry and come to events I was hosting or like my dissertation or like different things. Like you met everyone in my immediate circle, and not just because you were trying to like get me to like you and you thought I would like you better if you were with my friends, but like you were evaluating who I was based on the people I was around.
Yeah.
Because like it's literally a proven principle. Like the 5 people you spend the most time with are who you become. The Bible says it, and it's true. In
I don't
psychology.
think young men take it serious enough that their community should be speaking highly of them. So I just inserted myself in your community, and I needed to show your community who I was, not in a flattering or like over the top way, but your campus pastor at your church went back to your dad and talked about me.
Yeah,
your dad,
there's no way.
grandma.
There's no way my dad would have been on board if you were just some guy that lived 6 hours away. And I was like, yeah, he asked me out. He'd be like, who is this guy? Like, how am I supposed to trust him? But you were around and you saw my world. I saw your world. But you made the effort more to come into my world.
How important was it for you when you came into my community to hear what my friends had to say?
Yeah, I mean, I was so impressed. I was like, wow, you have a lot better friends than I do. I was like, dang. So pretty much we adopted a lot of your friends. And your friends were getting married and having kids, and they were in life stages where they were growing. And my friends, a lot of them were not. They were
Still are.
Still in college, still single. Like most of my friends are still single. I mean,
Wow.
no, most of my friends who I was friends with in college are still single, and I'm not friends with them anymore because we have nothing in common anymore. But
That gets me in trouble a lot. Is I've said, one, you don't have single friends. Two, I get to pick your friends. Like I got to cut friends out of your life. And it goes both ways. You do the same for me. But there's a lot.
It's not like that. It's not just like, I don't like this girl.
Yeah.
Block her. Like,
It's, do I believe that this person in your life is going to help you become a better wife, a better Christian, a better mom? And if they're going to pull you no friendships are neutral. No, friendships either are pulling you closer to Christ or pulling you away from Christ, pulling you closer to your marriage or pushing you away from your marriage.
Yeah.
And
it's not that every single relationship has to be like the wisest person on earth that's always directing you and like giving you, like, there are peer level relationships.
Yeah.
But there still should never be like gossip, slandering, any negative talk about your.
but we have
marriage,
the
your kids,
categories of wise, foolish, and evil.
Yeah.
As far as people that you are intentionally friends with,
Yeah.
I pretty much would only have that category as wise. And a lot of single people send me DMs or get mad that I give this advice. You can do ministry to single people, but I would not consider those people your
foolish
friends.
people.
Yeah. So like the single gals in your life, there are single gals in your life, but they're girls you're doing ministry with. They're not your peer level friends.
Yeah.
And I think it's very
Yeah,
important.
I'm not going to be open and vulnerable with them about marriage stuff or parenting stuff or ministry stuff because I don't expect them to understand. Like, they can pray for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just different.
I had single friends going into marriage that we stayed friends with because they were heading towards marriage.
exactly, yeah.
I think what's really hard for any of the single people that are going to get mad at this advice, you will not get left behind if you are actively striving towards that next life stage.
absolutely.
But naturally, when a couple gets married, you are entering a new life stage, and it's really hard to make time for single people. It just really is.
Yeah, you can't get pulled back into living an independent single life. So if it's like, someone who's trying to work towards marriage is very wise, you're mutually benefiting from each other in your relationship with the Lord, spurring each other on, like, awesome. But yeah, like, I'm not going to go like hang out with some random college friend just for fun and like take time away from you in Indy. Like, that's not how we operate.
Yeah, so for the single people that don't want to get left behind in the Christian community when all your friends get married, be the kind of person that is taking steps to get married and asking for advice.
Yeah.
Go to your married friends and like, hey, how do I do what you did? How do I want to keep up with you? How do I do this? Not marriage sucks, it's oppressive, I'm not getting married, I'm called to singleness. Your married friends will just say like, cool, you don't understand what you're missing out on because you don't understand what you're missing out on.
Yeah, and that's okay. And I didn't either.
And pretty much the same transition happens when you have kids. And we'll get into that in another podcast. But it is, single people don't know what it's like to be married. And then married people don't know what it's like to have kids.
Yeah.
Every one of those are massive transitions in life. And you have to be open and honest and reevaluate your life.
All the time. It's like when I'm sleep deprived and, trying to just have enough energy as I can to be nice to you when you get home from work, like, probably not going to go hang out with other people. Like, it's not personal. I'm trying to keep my energy in the right priorities. And
So when getting, so say they found the person, they want to get married. What are like the top one or two things that you think marriage counseling should address that it doesn't address?
Like premarital counseling?
Yeah. Like they're engaged. What are the big things that now that you're married, you realize are so important? What should these couples be asking themselves and being honest about right before they get married?
Yeah. I mean, I think the biggest thing for us that I didn't necessarily think about that I feel like God was very gracious in. And so we have a unique situation because God audibly spoke to both of us.
God prearranged our marriage.
Yeah. God audibly spoke to both of us at different times that we were supposed to get married. I've never heard God's voice before that. I've never heard it since then. That was the one thing he said, you're going to stay in Phoenix and you're going to marry Landon. And I was like,
I was up in your vents in your house.
yeah, right.
Marry Landon.
Right.
You're an idiot.
Anyways, so I feel like we have a unique situation in that. So where it was like, for us, it was just straight obedience. Like we knew this is what we're supposed to do. But I think I didn't necessarily think about, like, I thought about that we were compatible at the time, that like we got along, our lives merged, we had similar goals, all the things. We like wrote down our goals our first year of marriage, and it was like, get a Bernese Mountain Dog.
Sex 7 times a week.
Yeah.
Just some like very low standards.
Just like super easy.
basic.
So, And we just kind of agreed about things. Like we bought a house and we agreed on what friends to have and church to go to and jobs. And we were both working at the church and like everything was kind of like, oh, this is good. And then I feel like as our marriage has gone on, I've seen more and more that like why God put us together. And it's because of the ministry that he wants us to be doing. And I didn't necessarily think about that. I was like, I didn't think about like, is this man going to be a good husband? Is he going to be a good leader? I mean, a dad, a father, sorry. I didn't think about you being a father. I really didn't. I didn't think about myself being a mom. Like, I just thought about like, we're going to have a good marriage. I didn't think about like the long term of like, what are the next 50 years going to look like? Like,
Yeah, a lot of guys will get scared off from a gal because she says she doesn't want to have kids ever. So with you said similar things. And I was like, you know what? She's going to feel safe in her marriage and she's going to get over that. I think that's something you should talk about pre-marriage.
100%.
But guys, there is a lie in our society taught to women that kids will ruin your life. Kids, I can't work anymore. Kids, like that's not a legacy building thing. It's not the most valuable thing you can do in your marriage. It's scary. And I think a lot of girls just say that out of being scared. I don't ever want to have kids.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think a woman needs to come into marriage and feel safe and secure. And it's a conversation that can be worked through.
Yeah.
And I would have been, I don't know if I would have been okay if you would have said I never want to have kids.
Would have been.
But I had no doubt that you were
No,
going to get
you
over
feel
that.
very called to be a father. And I wasn't against it. I was very fearful.
Yeah.
But again, being in a secure relationship,
Yeah.
like fixed all. I was like, oh no, this makes sense now. I just couldn't imagine having kids with some like deadbeat guy who I was going to be just like in poverty and stressed and like, you know, in a dangerous area or something. I don't know. Like you were providing for us in a way that I was like, no, this is gonna be fine. Like, and our relationship was strong enough. Like, we're gonna be good.
Yeah.
I think talking about kids is really important. Like I didn't think I was gonna homeschool. Like, there's just so many things that I had in my mind that were just really fears, and thankfully you saw through them, and you called it out. And I don't even know if anyone Rise Council like really saw through it, but God gave you, for whatever reason, like the mind to understand that I was afraid of marriage. I was afraid of having kids. I was afraid of not being independent, all these things. And you just saw it as lies, and you were just like, no, like.
We'll get through it.
That was like pretty
Men
ballsy.
need a lot more confidence and a lot bigger balls.
Yeah,
to
I
get
don't
married.
know if that's good for everybody, but I
Probably
think
not.
women need to be humble and not just have these crazy expectations, but realize that probably a lot of what you're believing is not true.
You're a child in your 20s.
You know? Yeah, we were, how old were we when we started dating? 20, 21?
Met you at 17, dated at 21 or 22.
Yeah. And so there's so much that we talked about, but like, I'm so glad we were on the same page, because you can't you can't fix it once you're married. Like if you're totally on different tracks of like, you wanted to be in ministry and I'm like, I want to pursue my career over here. You're like, I want to have kids and I don't like, you like, that doesn't work. Like, so
I think that's probably my biggest thing for couples before you get married. You need to talk about, all right, it's two becoming one, and it's not two merging these pieces of each other. It's two becoming a new one. When you get married, you're starting your own family, new family. That affects your family relationships, your friendships, your finances, your free time, your everything. Like and if you go into it with the mindset of we're resetting everything, and two is becoming one, and one is a new thing.
a lot of humility.
Takes a lot of humility. But if you go in with the right expectations, it's just a new reset. And then it's not as hard to work through. But if you merge two single lives, you're just going to be at each other's throats.
It's like, I want a husband that can play pickleball with me on Saturday mornings. So it's like, well, that's not, like, these are not priorities.
For sure.
So.
Hot take, if you play pickleball, you're gay.
Oh my gosh.
Just kidding. What is your, to end this episode, what is one of Ashley's hot takes? Ashley has a lot of hot takes. Just get ready to be offended. Ashley has too many hot takes.
Just in general?
Yes, just a hot
Just
take.
anything?
For women.
For women?
Uh-huh.
I don't know how offensive
Go as
you want
spicy and
me to be.
offensive as you want to be. See how many friends you lose.
Okay, I have a lot of hot takes, but the one that I'll share for now is that once you get married, you shouldn't let yourself get ugly.
It's a good one. It's a great one. I
I don't feel like it's a hot take. Like,
Oh, but a lot of women There's a lot of body
It's not like
positivity.
you've like
and
reached the finish line and you're like, great, I got him. Now we're good. It's like, no, you should.
I see a lot of that.
Yeah, that's not cool. Like you should be trying to win your husband over every single day.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Date your husband before someone else does.
that's a great point. And men should do the same. Don't be disgusting.
Yes, men should for sure do the same thing. I don't like going to the gym, but I
I don't either.
But I go to the gym every day because I need to
Brush
stay in
your
shape.
teeth, you shower, you do all the things. It's
Hygiene is important.
very important.
Yeah. Once you get married, it is a starting line, not a finish line.
Yeah.
So you should be taking care of yourself. So you should be taking care of each other. And if you got ugly, I would talk to you about it. And
Vice versa. I mean, a lot of people like get divorced because they're just like, I'm just not attracted to them anymore. It's like,
well, because they haven't showered in 2 weeks.
yeah, there's a lot you can do about that.
For sure.
If you just like drift into becoming a different person than what you married, like if you just all of a sudden were a completely different person than I signed up for, I'd be like, hello, like, what are we doing here? Like, you don't get to just change who you are because now you feel secure. Like,
Yep.
you still need to keep pursuing health. So, yeah, there's my hot take.
Yep. I like it. All right.
It doesn't
Well,
feel like a hot take to me, though.
shouldn't be a hot take, but a lot of people in the comments will be upset.
my goodness.
So, well, thank you for joining us on our first ever marriage episode of Build to Last. This has been Landon and Ashley. Hopefully you enjoyed it.
Nice.